Appointments is next, and we have with us Mr. Roy Blackwell. Mr. Blackwell, welcome to Greensville County. Mr. Blackwell is with the Virginia Auction Company Incorporated, and he is here to present to you a program that he implements currently in the city of Victoria, and that is the booting of vehicles when folks are delinquent with the payment of taxes and other programs. So, Mr. Blackwell,
it's Mr. Black, Roy Black.
Roy Black, not Blackwell. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Black, my
That's okay.
apologies. And the podium, don't boot my car because of
my name is Roy Black, and I founded Virginia Auction Company a number of years ago. And we started collecting taxes on behalf of the treasurers, and so we opened up Virginia Collection Company, which specializes in personal property tax collection. We have a booting program. We use LPRs. We have a Google program that we use to find the people who are trying to not pay their taxes. Our job is to seek those people out, find them, and encourage them to come in and pay their taxes. We do it for about 25 localities in Virginia now. And I'll go through my PowerPoint. If you don't mind, I'll just step over to the side. I'll speak a little bit to that. Okay. All of our personnel are in uniforms.
Can you get the light back there, please, so the one can see? Please. You got them yet?
All our personnel are in uniforms. We have well-marked cars. We have badges on our neck to say we're tax collectors, all in to try to encourage the taxpayer not to cause any problem, just come in and pay their taxes. As I say, we do it for 25 localities, and we range from booting it the second we find it to giving them a seizure and say we're seizing the car, and we'll give you 4 or 5 days to come in and pay your taxes, and if you don't pay it, then we come back and we seize your car at that time. We boot it, then we tow it to a secure compound. One of the ways we do it, a lot of cities we use license plate readers where we can ride around in parking lots, Walmarts, and places, and we can identify your car with the taxes with the license plate reader. We're fully compliant with all Virginia laws. We've been doing this for a long, long time, and we have online notification. So if I seize the car this minute, the same time that I'm seizing the car, the treasurer can open up her computer and see that I'm taking that car, seizing that car right there. So they can keep up with exactly what we're doing at all the time. Turn to the next page. Okay. We've formed a partnership with Attorney Kevin O'Pale, who is the State of Virginia's Treasurers Association's attorney, so that we make sure if we have any kind of questions about legality of what we're doing, we go straight to Kevin and ask his opinion. He's retired from Arlington County Treasurer's Office after 30 years. Again, he's the legal counsel of the Virginia Treasurers Association. And the simple truth about this, there's no cost to the localities. No RFPs required. Mr. Williams in Portsmouth put out an RFP a couple of years ago and put a piggyback clause in it so the other localities could just piggyback on top of his contract. And so there's no cost to the to the city or to the county. All of our money comes directly from the taxpayer, and all that's controlled by state law. Next. We seize vehicles for personal property. We can seize it for utilities. We can seize it for real estate, miscellaneous fees, tipping fees, or anything that the treasurer is responsible for collecting. She has seizure power to collect anything that is owed to the county. And once it becomes her responsibility to seize it or to collect it, we have authority to seize it. This is the where notification comes up on her computer. It shows the date, the time, person's name, and all information about the vehicle, the time we seized it, the time if it was towed, where it was towed to, and all the information that shows on her computer as we're typing in our computer in the field. Okay. Next page, please. Okay. We don't own record companies, so we use local record companies to be able to tow our vehicles to the compound, and we required them to show us proper insurance that is required by the statute that we have to furnish each locality. In the last 3 or 4 years, I've seen restaurants, I've seen airplanes, I've seen businesses, boats, farm equipment. So we work with seizing an airplane, we have to work with Homeland Security and FAA, and when you seize huge boats, you have to work with the Coast Guard and Homeland Security. So we're all up to date with those type of seizures. Any kind of farm equipment that has tax on it, and if somebody owes real estate tax and has a huge tractor, we can seize the tractor for their real estate tax. What it does, it forces the people to pay their tax earlier rather than later, because the sooner you can get them to pay their tax, the easier it is on them to pay it. When they get 3 or 4 years delinquent, it makes it really difficult for them to come up with the money to pay their taxes. So what we try to do is get it sooner so they don't get in such a deep hole. Next page, please. We do judicial sales with a lot of the localities. I do their auctions when they have a tax auction. We do the non-judicial tax sales ourselves. A couple, 4 or 5 years ago, the Treasurer of Spotsylvania County introduced a non-judicial tax sale for small parcels that it wasn't financially feasible to have an attorney do. So we did a program to be able to seize and sell non-judicial properties. So what we try to do is make a whole thing. If you have a problem with some kind of collecting of taxes, we want to be involved in helping you collect those taxes. We do the auctions. I found this, started this 34 years ago with the auction company, and I do about 25 localities now with tax auctions. And we started about 4 years ago, started Virginia Collection Company to do personal property. And so that's about us. I ask, do you have any questions?
What percentage of the owed bill do you use to go pay?
I get 20%, and that's by state law.
That's on top of what they owe.
You get 100%.
That's on top of what they owe.
You get 100% of your taxes.
Okay.
The state law says
That's my point.
the taxpayer has to pay the cost of seizure, 20% on top of the taxes and their fees, so that it doesn't come out of any of the county's money. So you don't have to have an ordinance to be able to hire us, because you're not spending any money.
Where would this stuff be impounded at?
We use local tow companies that be in the
It
county.
would be in this area.
We don't have-
It would be hauling off.
No, we don't have compounds. We don't have tow trucks.
Okay.
We actually seize the vehicle. We contract with a local towing company to house the vehicles here in the county, and they tow them here in the county, because we don't have any other way to do that, because we don't own any record trucks.
Of those 25 counties that you have been working with, once this concept has been introduced, have you seen any one of those counties make a big turnaround and be sure that they start paying taxes so that
Yes, ma'am.
cars and things will not be?
Chesapeake, Miss Barbara Caraway is the treasurer of Chesapeake, Virginia. When we started her, Miss Caraway did a public service announcement in the newspaper saying on such and such a date she was going to start. Her vehicles were out seizing cars, and in the first month she collected $2 million that we had nothing to do with. The people didn't want us to seize their vehicles, and they didn't want to be embarrassed, so they went and got in line to pay their taxes. And so in that first month she collected $2 million of uncollectible funds. Of course, we didn't get anything because we didn't have any part of it. That was just the spin-off from it. When I seize your car, the neighbors see me see your car, or people in Walmart, if they owe taxes, they're going straight to the county to start paying their taxes or make a payment arrangement. So the side effect of people coming in so their cars don't get towed is a whole lot more so than what we tow.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Ms. Lipsky, our treasurer. What, could you describe for us your current process of collecting illegal taxes?
Currently, the first thing we do once they become delinquent is we try to do, if they are employed, then we try to do a wage lien against their taxes, their pay. And then on the second year that they're delinquent, if we have not been able to do a tax lien, we will submit them to the state of Virginia, and we will seize any funds they get as a state tax refund. We also use the DMV stops, which is very successful in collections, and that stops their registrations with DMV. So that's the first things we do to collect. And then, of course, that, you know, like Mr. Black said, the older they get, the taxes get, the harder they are to collect.
Mr. Black, at what point does most of the localities hand these cases over to you once they're deemed to be delinquent by the treasurer?
Portsmouth does, the code says they cannot give them to their 90 days past due. Portsmouth gives them to me in 90 days, because his theory is the sooner that we force them in, the easier it is for them to pay. Miss Caraway and Chesapeake gives them to me 1 year. Alright County, Franklin, Southampton County give them to us at 4 months after they're due. So they wait 120 days after they're due rather than 90 days statute. So every locality sets what they want to do. And we go by what we represent the treasurer. We're agents of the treasurer. And so whatever she tells us, these are our limits, that's what we have to stay within. We have the authority by her having given, she has the authority by state law. And she can convey us whatever authority she wants to for us to be able to seize vehicles. And we can seize the vehicle. If you have a vehicle in Portsmouth, and my LPR hits it in Portsmouth, we can seize it. So no matter where we find the vehicle, we can seize it. We go out in North Carolina, we go into Maryland, and so we can, state law says contiguous jurisdiction, but since it's a state law, then it's not contiguous with Rainbow County, it's contiguous with the state of Virginia.
And they also, we were discussing this earlier, he said a lot of the localities, that he doesn't automatically boot a car when he finds it. Some of the localities chose to give the taxpayers a week.
Emporia, Prince George,
Yeah.
Dinwiddie County, we go out and we hand them a seizure warrant, say the car has been seized by the treasurer. We put a sticker on it so they know it's been seized. We don't boot it or anything. So you have a week to go in and pay your taxes. And if they don't go in that week's time to pay their taxes, then we go back and boot it and tow it because they're not showing good faith. And so each treasurer tells me, some of the treasurers say 3 days, some of them say a week, some of them say 4 days. So whatever the treasurer decides that they want their policy to be, that's what it's, we work within.
So it's not, you don't have to automatically, go to Walmart and start booting cars. He can go and, like he said, he can give them a seizure warrant, put a sticker on the car, and then, we can give them a week to come in and pay.
That works real well in Emporia. It works real well in Prince George and Dinwiddie County. And the rural areas seem that works better than just going through the malls and snatching up your car. If you did the same thing in Portsmouth, he would never collect any money because people ignore you when if you don't take their car, they're just not going to pay. And so each locality has to, they understand their locality, and they give us the guidelines they want us to follow in their locality.
What is the penalty again? I ought to know, but I don't know. For delinquent paying on your end, for example.
Delinquent, it's a 10% penalty. Okay, on the 6th of December, a 10% penalty.
Right.
Excuse me. Then on January 1st, interest starts accruing, which is 10% per annum. So it's less than 1% a month of interest that accrues.
But basically from December the 5th to December the 5th the following year, it's 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Plus an additional.
Well, then we have a $20 administrative fee that goes on May 1st on each ticket that if it's not paid.
So basically you're talking about 25% for you and 20% for them added on to a bill that's already over.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's an incentive to make people pay their taxes.
I understand
That's,
where you're coming from. I really do. I mean,
Yeah.
people need to know that if we start this, they're not just going to have to pay the taxes, but they're going to have to pay penalties plus an additional 20%.
See,
Yeah.
what I recommend to each locality is put an article in the newspaper.
Right.
Saying we're going to start this on this date.
Right.
If your car is found after this date, They're subject to car B and C's with delinquent taxes.
Right.
The taxpayers that's on the border of the fence, it's just a little bit of nudge, and they'll come in and pay. And that's the taxpayers we're trying to get in and come in and pay, so they don't incur any additional costs. And the other taxpayers are not going to pay you unless you force them to, just like real estate. They're not going to pay their real estate tax. Some of them have to be sold every year because they just refuse to pay. And the same thing with cars. The difference with real estate, you got 20 years. With cars, you only have 5 years. You have to write the tax off at the end of the 5th year for personal property.
Further questions, Mr. Black?
All right, thank you.
We thank you very much. Thank you.
Ms. Leslie, I take it that you really don't need the Board of Supervisors to do anything. I mean,
No,
you have the authority.
I have the authority to do this, but, I mean, it's like we talked about before, you know, I want to work with the board, and I don't want to do something that the board is completely against. Because we all have to live here, you know, and I just feel like we need to work together to come up with a solution. Because, I mean, most of these are people that they just will not pay. You know, we do everything that's in my power to collect. So these are the people that, you know, just will not pay. And a lot of people work outside of the state of Virginia. If they work in the state of Virginia, I can get them with a tax lien. But if they work in Roanoke Rapids, you know, in North Carolina, you know, there's nothing I can do because they won't honor our tax liens. So,
We hope we're on the right path.
yeah.
Would you like for the treasurer to bring you back some
Recommendation.
policy,
Recommend-
written
yeah.
policy?
Okay.
Perhaps you could bring one from the city of Emporia,
Sure.
or there might be one or two.
Well, he
others.
has an agreement, you know, that's already been worked up.
Right. The city of Portsmouth, they went through the RFP process, and we had to follow it. We have a copy of the whole RFP process that lays out how we do it and everything. And so,
Yeah.
Well, what we need from you is, you know, when
Recommendations.
recommendation on when you're gonna set that down, whether it be 90 days on it, 20 days, whatever.
Okay.
Details
Okay.
of policy.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll talk to some of the surrounding localities and see what they're doing and kind of try to follow suit with what the city and Southampton County and I know Brunswick County is thinking about, well, I think they are going to, I don't think they have
they've been
yet.
approved, they haven't started.
They haven't started yet because they had to move their office, so she had to delay it a little bit. But I'll talk to the, you know, localities surrounding and see what they're doing.
I think you said Southampton was 120 days or something. One of them.
Southampton's 120 days, Alright County, City of Franklin's 120 days.
Right.
Emporia, I'm thinking he's 90 days.
I think he's 90.
Yeah.
I
And
think he's 90.
Prince George is 90 days, and Dimity County is 4 months. Their concept is, you know, the quicker I get on behind them, the less problem I have. And so
Yeah.
usually when you got somebody that's only 3 or 4 months behind in his taxes, and you go out and hand them a seizure warrant, they get the funny feeling in their stomach and they run in and either pay their taxes or make a payment arrangement to pay those taxes.
Yeah.
But either way, you've got their attention. Before you can collect the taxes, you got to get their attention. And this is the way you get their attention, and they come in and they make a payment arrangement. And most of the treasurers, if they make a payment arrangement and they don't stick to it, they call me and say, go get it.
Yeah. Then we bring out the big guns.
That's right. Probably. Will you fill in on the question?
Are there further questions? Mr. Black or Ms. Leslie?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.